Let me keep here what is the agenda for today's session is. In today's class, what is the agenda for today's class is? In today's class, we'll go and discuss about a complete introduction to Microsoft Power Platform. In today's class, in the next coming 60 minutes of time, what we'll try to understand? We'll try to understand what is this Power Platform, what type of software it is, what we can do with the help of Power Platform software, and also we'll understand who will use the Power Platform software and who will hire the Power Platform developers. So in the next coming 60 minutes of time, in detail about, we'll try to understand the Power Platform. So first let me list out what points we'll discuss now in today's class, guys. So first point we'll try to understand now in today's class is uh, what is Power Platform, and the second point we'll try to understand now in today's class is what is meant by business applications. Third point we'll try to understand how to implement the business applications using Power Platform software. Business applications using Power Platform software, and also we'll understand Power Platform architecture. Power Platform architecture. So these are the points we'll discuss now in today's class. So what's the Power Platform architecture is? Let me show you the architecture. So this is what the Power Platform architecture. So by the end of this today's class, we'll try to understand what is the Power Platform architecture, guys. So these are the points we'll discuss now in today's class. Now, among all these points, first let me go and discuss about what is Power Platform, what we can do with the help of Power Platform software. At a high level, let me mention the points what we'll try to what we are going to perform within the Power Platform, guys. So let me copy and then paste it here. At a high level, try to understand what we can do with the help of Power Platform software. Now try to understand within the Power Platform, we are able to create the apps for your business or for organization. Within the Power Platform, we are able to perform some automations, and also within the Power Platform, we are able to perform some data analysis, and within the Power Platform, we are able to create the websites. We are able to create what? Websites. And within the Power Platform, we are able to create the chatbots, and finally we are able to store the data. It acts as a data source. So this is what we are going to perform within the Power Platform. In the Power Platform, we are able to create the apps. We are able to perform some automations. We are able to perform the data analysis. We are able to create the websites. We'll go and create some chatbots and also data sources. Now, how we are going to implement all these things within the Power Platform software, we'll try to understand now in today's class, guys. By the end of this today's class, you will come to know that how we are going to implement these 6 things within the Power Platform. For now, just keep in mind what we can do with the help of Power Platform software. And next, along with this, we'll understand 2 more points. The next point, we'll try to understand who will use the Power Platform software. Who will use what? Power Platform software. Along with this, we'll try to understand who will hire them Power Platform developers. Who will hire what? Power Platform developers. These 2 points also we'll try to understand now in today's class. So these are the points we'll be discussing now in today's class, guys. So I'm listing what points we are discussing now. Now among all this, first let me go and start discussing about who will use the Power Platform software. Among all this, first let me discuss about what? Who will use it. Now try to understand who will use the Power Platform software is. If you take any company, guys, whatever the company it is, if you take any company, what the companies will do? The companies will do some business. Let's take well-known companies for us. Let's take Amazon. Amazon is one company. They're doing what business? They're doing some e-commerce business. Let's take some other company, ICICI. ICICI is one company. They're doing what business? Banking business. Let's take some other company, Swiggy. Swiggy is one company. They're doing what business? They're doing some again food business like retail. Like this, if you take any company, what the companies will do? They'll do some business. Now, let's say here Amazon company is there. They are doing the e-commerce business. Now, do we think that Amazon company directly will go and start doing the e-commerce business? Do we think that as a customers we know that what Amazon company is doing some e-commerce business? Now, the company Amazon company directly will go and start doing the e-commerce business means no. Directly they are not able to start the business. So first of all, if you want to start any business, the companies need to go and implement some applications, guys. The companies need to go and implement what? Applications. Now, what applications the companies need to implement? Here, Amazon company is there. They want to start the e-commerce business. Before going to start the business, I'm telling that they need to go and implement some applications. Now, what applications the companies need to go and implement? They need to go and implement the business applications. If you take any company, it is, let's say Amazon, before going to start the e-commerce business, they need to go and implement some business applications. If you take ICICI, before going to start the banking business, they need to go and implement some business applications. Any company, before going to start the business, what I'm telling here, the companies need to go and implement what? Business applications. Now, what are called as business applications? So let me keep an example, guys. Just try to understand at a high level. Business applications is nothing but app is one business application. If you take any company, they'll have some apps nowadays. App is one of the business application. Website is one of the business application. Nowadays, they are integrating the chatbots. Chatbot is one of the business application. Next, they'll have the data sources. Data source is also one of the business application. Data sources. Next, they'll perform the data analysis, and also they'll go and perform some automations. So all this comes under the business applications. If you take any company, no doubt, before going to start the business, that companies need to go and create some apps. The companies need to go and create what? Websites. Nowadays, they are creating what? Chatbot. In the old days, there is no chatbot. Now they are integrating the chatbots. So few people, I know you are not able to understand what is meant by chatbot. Those who are new will understand what is meant by chatbots. Please give me some time. And also the companies need to have what? Data sources. The companies will have what? Data analysis. They'll go and perform some data analysis. And also if there is a company, no doubt the companies will go and perform some automations. If you take any company, no doubt the company need to go and implement these applications, guys. They need to have an app. The company need to have a website. That company need to have one chatbot. They need to have one data source. They need to analyze their business data. And also they need to perform some automations. There is no doubt. If you take Amazon company, ICICI company, Swiggy company, whatever the company it is, any company if you take, if the company is doing some business, then the companies need to go and implement what? Business applications. Before going to start the business, first the companies will go and implement what? Business applications. So these are called as business applications. Now, if you want to go and implement these business applications, now we need to go and use one software. So what is that software? Nowadays, the companies are using in order to go and implement the business applications is the companies are using the Power Platform software, guys. So nowadays, what's the company? What's the software the companies are using in order to go and implement the business applications? Power Platform. So we understand who will use the Power Platform software now. Who will use it? Any company, if they want to do any business, before going to start the business, they need to go and implement what? Business applications. To implement the business applications, the companies are using what software? Power Platform software. So we understand who will use it. And also one more point, we understand what is the use of this Power Platform software, what we can do with this. This Power Platform software is used for what? Just now we understand. These are used to implement business applications, correct? So just now we understand one more point here. To implement the business applications, we'll go and use the Power Platform software. So we understand who will use it and also what we can do with the help of Power Platform. Power Platform software is used to implement the business applications. Fine. So we understand who will use it. And next point, we need to understand who will hire the Power Platform developers now. Now try to understand. For this question also the answer is same. Which company is using the Power Platform software, whatever the company it is, if the company is using Power Platform software to implement what? Business applications, then the same, that company need to go and hire whom? Power Platform developers. So who will hire the Power Platform developers means which company is using the Power Platform software, the same company will go and hire the Power Platform developers. Now why the companies will hire the Power Platform developers? Because Power Platform developers need to go and work with software, Power Platform software. With the help of Power Platform software, Power Platform developers will go and implement what? Business applications. Now once after implementing the business applications with the help of Power Platform software, with the help of that business applications, companies will start doing what? Business. So we understand clearly who will use it, what is the use of Power Platform, and also who will hire the Power Platform developers. Fine. Okay. We know that who will use the Power Platform and who will hire the Power Platform developers. But one point you need to understand here, as a Power Platform developer, we need to understand one point in detail about what is meant by business applications. What is the need of implementing the business applications? Why the companies need to go and implement this business applications? What's the need of implementing them? Let me keep that point here, guys. First, let me keep one point here, whatever we understand still now. So nowadays, companies are using the Power Platform software to implement the business applications. Nowadays, the companies are using which software to implement the business applications is Power Platform. Fine. Now we need to understand what is the need of implementing these business applications. Why the companies need to go and implement these business applications? What's the need of it? So the next point we need to understand what is the need of business applications. What is the need of business applications? And next point we need to understand how to implement these business applications using Power Platform. We need to understand how to implement them also. So the second point we need to understand how to implement the business applications using Power Platform software. How to implement the business applications using Power Platform software. These 2 points we need to understand now. So once after understanding this, who will use it and who will hire it? From this we need to go and understand 2 more points. That is, what is the need of business applications and how to implement the business applications using Power Platform. Now try to understand, guys. First we'll try to understand about what is the need of implementing the business applications. Why the companies will go and implement this business applications now. Let me keep here. Why the companies will implement the business applications is business applications are used to implement or streamline the business process of an organization. What is the need of implementing the business applications? Business applications are used to implement or streamline. What I want to streamline? Business process of an organization. Now, if you take any organization, means company's case. If you take any company, let's take Amazon. Amazon company is doing the e-commerce business. Now Amazon company will have some business process or not? Yes. If you take ICICI is doing the banking business, ICICI company will have some business process or not? Yes. Even if you take Swiggy company also will have some business process. Let's take our AB trainings case. AB trainings also will have some business process. First we will collect the student details. Once after collecting the student details, we'll conduct the demo. Once after conducting the demo, if the students are okay with the demo, then we'll conduct new batch. In that new batch, we'll conduct the 2 free classes. Once after completion of 2 free classes, we'll go for what? Registration. So this is one process for AB trainings. If you take any company, the companies will have what? Business process. So if you want to go and implement or streamline the business process of an organization, we need to go and make use of what? Business applications. With the help of the business applications only, we are able to implement the business process of any organization, guys. Let's take Amazon example. Amazon company is doing the e-commerce business where they will sell the products to the customers. If they want to sell the products to the customers, first they need to go and create an app, and then they need to contact the sellers, and then whatever the products the sellers are going to sell, they need to keep those products in the Amazon app, and then they need to go and market that app to reach to the customers. And as a customer, we need to go and place the orders. Once we place an order, immediately we'll receive one mail, and also they will send one email to that seller. So the seller need to pack that product. While packing that product, they need to check whether it is 100% efficient or not. So this is all the business process. If you want to go and implement the business process of any organization, we need to go and make use of what? Business applications. With the help of the business applications only, we are able to implement or streamline the business process. How to implement or streamline the business process of an organization with the help of the business applications, you'll understand. I'll show you. There is some steps we need to follow while implement the business applications. What steps we need to follow, you'll understand. For now, keep in mind, what is the need of business applications means these business applications are used to implement or streamline the business process of an organization. Fine. Okay, we understand what is the need of business applications. Now I am adding one more point here, business process. What is meant by business process? So let me keep here. Business process will involves in multiple activities, comma, tasks and rules that are used to implement the process of an organization. Now what the business process contains? Business process will involve in multiple activities or tasks, and while doing this multiple activities and tasks, there is some rules we need to follow. What are those means? Multiple activities and tasks means what? First we need to create an app, creating the website and contacting to the sellers and keeping the products in the website or in the app and promoting the app to the customers and then placing the orders. While you are placing the orders, there are some rules we need to follow, whether the product is having the cash and delivery or not, whether it is having the shipping address or not, how many days it will take to deliver. So there are some rules we need to follow now. So even Amazon company will follow some rules while developing the app. Sellers also need to follow some rules. As a customer also we need to follow some rules. So activities means, let's take you are placing an order, it is an activity. Tasks means whoever the people working in Amazon company, they will perform some tasks. So any company, if you take, that company will have the business process. That business process will involve in what? Multiple activities, tasks and rules that are you. What is the use of this multiple activities, tasks and rules means? By using those rules and tasks, we are going to implement the process of an organization. Fine. So this is what the business applications, what is the need of business applications, why the companies need to implement them, and what is meant by business process. So next point, we need to understand how to implement the business applications using Power Platform. Now before going to understand how to implement the business applications, first one point you need to understand here. While implementing the business applications, there is one process we need to follow. While implementing the business applications, there is one process we need to follow. We'll call it as business applications process. While implementing the applications, we need to follow one process. It is not recommended to implement the applications by your own. What is that process? Let me show you what is the business application process architecture. So this is what the business applications process architecture. So any company, they need to go and implement this business applications process architecture, no doubt in that. So now while implementing the business applications, first we need to start with what? Any company, first they will start with what? Front-end applications. Step one is what? Developing the front-end applications. Front-end applications is nothing but app is one of the front-end application. Website is one of the front-end application. Chartbot also comes under the front end. These three will come under the front end, guys. Front end means whatever you are able to see, those comes under the front end. So app is one front end, website is a front end, and chartbots also comes under the front end application. So now once if you are ready with the front end, next step 2 is what? We need to go and implement the back end. Back end means what? Data sources. Step 2 is what? Data sources. Data sources will come under where? Back end. So the second step we need to go and implement in the business application process data sources. So what's meant by data sources means the place where the companies will store their business data. What is the data sources? The place where the companies will store their business data will call it as data sources. Data sources will come under the back end. This app, website, chatbots will come under the front end. So step 2, we need to go and implement the data sources. So step 2, online people, please be on mute. Online people, make sure you are on mute. Fine. And next step, third step is what? Online people, make sure that you are in mute. Please don't disturb the class in the middle. So we're done with what? Step 1. Step 1 is what? Implementing the front end. And step 2 is what? Data sources. Step 2 is data sources. And next, once after the data sources, next we need to go and implement what? Automations. The third step is what? We need to go and perform some automations, guys. Now this is the third step. Once after the automations, next, the fourth step is what? Data analysis. Fourth step is what? Data analysis. This is the fourth step. Data analysis is nothing but what? Showing the data in the form of visuals or reports. This is one visual. All these are the visuals, guys. Showing the data in the form of visuals or reports, we'll call it as what? Data analysis. So these are the 4 steps involved in this. Whenever if you are trying to implement the business applications for any company, they need to follow this process, guys. So business application process is a how many step process? It is a 4-step process. So in these 4 steps, first we need to start with what? Front end. Second step, we need to go with what? Back end, that is data sources. And third step is what? Automations. And then fourth step is what? Data analysis. So these are the 4 steps involved in this. So these are the 4 steps we need to follow. And now, while implementing this 4-step business application process, we need to follow the steps here, guys. So directly, you are not able to perform the data analysis. To perform the data analysis, we need to have the data. So data analysis, I'm telling at what? Showing the data in the form of visuals. If you want to show that data in the form of visuals, first of all, we need to have the data. So where the companies will store the data? Data sources. That means if you want to perform the data analysis, this data analysis process is depending on what? Data sources. So without having the data sources, you are not able to perform the data analysis. And next, from where we'll get the data into the data sources? We'll get the data into the data sources from the front-end applications, from apps, from websites. We'll get the data into the data sources. Whatever the data we are getting into the data sources, we need to take the data and we'll perform the analysis. And also directly we are able to perform the automations means no. To perform these automations are also depending on what? Data sources, or it will depends on the front-end applications. So directly you are not able to perform the data analysis. Directly you are not able to perform the automations. So only with data sources you are not able to do anything. So in this 4-step business application process, every step is connected with each other, guys. Every step is connected with each other. So how these are connected with each other, why it is connected, you'll understand now. Let me discuss. So this business application process is a how many step process? It's a 4-step process, correct? Business application process is a 4-step process. Let me list out those 4 steps here. Now what's the step 1? Front end applications. Step 2 is what? Data sources. And step 3 is what? Automations. And step 4 is what? Data analysis. Correct. Fine. And now this is what the 4-step business application process. Now let me discuss one by one now. First, let me go and discuss about what? Front end. So what will come under the front end? Apps, websites, chatbots. Correct. These 3 will come under the front end applications. Now let's say try to understand. I'm trying to implement the business application process, this 4-step business application process for the Swiggy company. Let's take Swiggy company, where you can understand the concept very easily. So now think that I'm trying to implement this 4-step business applications process for which company? Swiggy company. Now Swiggy company is ready with the front end applications, guys. They're ready with one app, they have the website, and they have one chatbot. Now if the company is ready with the front end applications, then they can start doing the business. Now Swiggy company is doing what business? Food business. Let's say I want to place a food order in the Swiggy app. So if you want to buy something from the Swiggy, first of all we need to go and download and install what? Swiggy app. So as a customer, let's take I'm the customer, I'm going to download and install the Swiggy app in my mobile phone. Now once after installing and downloading the Swiggy app in my mobile phone, so as a customer, I'm going to place an order. As a customer, I'm going to place some food item in the Swiggy app. Once if we place an order, what we know as a customers, we are placing an order. Once if we place the order, next within 30 minutes to 1 hour, the Swiggy company is going to deliver that food item to us. This is what we know as a customer. But as a Power Platform developer, we need to understand one point here, guys. Whenever the customer places an order in the app or on the website, from the websites also you can place the orders. Whenever the customer places an order in the app, the customer is going to generate some business data for that company. If you punch the, let's say I'm placing an order, then in the back end, automatically I'm generating business data for the Swiggy company. What kind of business data will generate here? Let's take orders related data, like what is the order ID. Next, sales related data, what's the sales price of that, what's the price I'm paying to them. And also I'm going to generate the profit by selling that food item, what's the profit the Swiggy company is getting. And also I'm going to generate what? Food items related data, what's the food item I'm placing an order. And then I'm going to generate what? Restaurants related data, which restaurant I'm selecting to prepare that food, restaurants related data. And also I'm going to generate what? Customers related data. Like this, whenever the customer places an order, as a customer we know just we are placing the order, but in the back end what is happening is, once the customer places an order, the customer is generating some business data for that Swiggy company. So this type of business data they will generate. Not only Swiggy, guys, if you take Amazon also, when if you place an order in Amazon, same, once you place an order, you are generating some business data for the Amazon company. Even if you take ICICI, once if you withdraw the amount, there is one transaction, that data will be stored in the backend. And also if you deposit some amount, you are doing some transactions, everything whatever you are doing, all the transactions will be somewhere stored in the databases. So as we come to know that whenever the customer places an order, the customer is going to generate some business data. Like this, the customer is generating some business data. Now where that business data is going to be stored? Where the company, correct, where the companies will store their business data, means orders data. So whatever the order the customer is placing, the complete details of that order will be stored in where? Data sources. The complete data of that order will be stored in where? Data sources. Now the data sources will contains what? Business data. Data sources will contains what? Business data. Instead of calling it as orders data, better to call it as a business data. So now once the customer places an order, we come to know that the complete details of that order will be stored in where? Data sources. Now what the data sources will contains? Business data. So now in which format the companies will store the business data in the data sources? Tabular format, correct.
Yes.
The companies will store the business data in the data sources in which format? Tabular format, that is in the form of columns and rows. So once if you place an order, the complete details of that order will comes into the data sources. That order details will be stored in which format? Tabular format. Fine. So we come to know that from where we'll get the data into the data sources means from the front end applications. Either you can get the data from the apps or you can get the data from the websites also. Why? Because customers will place the orders in the websites also. So now we understand 2 points. One is front end, second is what? Data sources. And next, third step is what? Automations. Now what's meant by automations now? Automation is nothing but sending the automated emails to the customers, sending the automated text messages to the customers, sending them or getting the approvals, all will comes under the same emails only. Notifications, delivery, all comes under the email. So now uh, the third step will understand what? Automation. Automation is nothing but sending the emails, text messages, or getting the approvals. Let's take, if you want to take the leave in any company, you need to take the approval from your manager or from HR, getting the automatic approvals or automatic rejections. So all this comes on the automations. Now how this automation will be used in the Swiggy company, try to understand. So still now we understand, as a customer, once the, if you place an order, the complete details of that order will comes into where? Data sources. This is what we know. For now we understand 2 points. Okay, now if you observe, once if you place an order, within the fraction of seconds, there is no delay, guys. Within the fraction of seconds, within 2 to 3 seconds, you will get one email. You'll get one email from the Swiggy company. What's that email? The subject of that email will be, your order is placed successfully. Thanks for placing the order. And in the body of that email, you can see the product. What is the food item you placed? What's the price? What's the delivery address? So some details of that order, you can see it in the mail. So once if you place an order, immediately within the fraction of seconds, we are receiving some mails from the Swiggy company. Now, whatever the mails the Swiggy company is sending to us, do we think that those mails are sent by the humans means? No, correct. Those mails are not sent by the humans. Whatever the mails the customers are receiving, those are not sent by the humans. Those are automated emails. Those are system generated emails. Now, why the Swiggy company is not sending the emails to the customers manually with the help of humans? Why they are sending the emails automatically to the customers? Why they are sending the system generated emails? Because, let me give 2 reasons here why the companies will go and send the emails to the customers automatically with the help of some softwares. Why? Because let's take Swiggy company, as I'm taking the Swiggy company. Suppose think that just for one day, how many customers will place the orders? Let's take 10,000 customers are placing the orders, or 10,000 orders, or 10,000 customers are placing the orders. Let's take an example. More than 10,000 orders also they will place, guys, no doubt in that. Let's take 10,000 example. Now, for all the 10,000 customers, whenever the customer places an order, immediately I need to send what? An email. When I want to send that email, once the customer places an order, immediately within the fraction of seconds, without any delay, max 2 to 3 seconds I want to take. Within the fraction of seconds, I want to send an email to that customer. Now, it is possible to send the emails to the customers within the fraction of seconds once the customer places an order with the help of humans? No. So with the help of humans, we are not able to send the emails to the customers within the fraction of seconds. Why? Because humans means manually we need type. What is the customer email ID and customer order placed, order ID? It will take some lot of time. And also, whether it is a time taking process. Next problem is what? How many mails I want to send for one day? 10,000 mails. It is possible to send the 10,000 emails manually? No, your mail will hang. So there are 2 problems here. One is I need to send the email within a fraction of seconds without any delay. Second one is I want to send the 10,000 mails per day. It is not easy to send the 10,000 mails manually with the help of humans. So to do this type of work, every company will have some work that is repeated work. Every company will have what? Repeated work will be there. So if you want to do that repeated work with the help of humans means it is not possible. If you want to do the repeated work with the help of humans, it is not possible. What is the repeated work in the Swiggy company? Whenever the customer places an order, sending the email to the customer, it is a repeated work. And also once the product is delivered, again they need to send another email. Your product is delivered successfully. So it is a repeated work. Whenever the customer places an order, sending the email, and not only sending the email to the customer, they need to send an email to the restaurant. They need to send an email to the delivery person. Once the delivery person is picked, you will get another one more notification. Your order is picked, it is on the way. So all these are automated, guys. So just I'm taking an example. Whenever the customer places an order, sending the email. This is the repeated work. So if you want to do this repeated work with the help of humans, it is not possible. So in the companies, there is some repeated work will be there. If you want to do this repeated work with the help of humans, we are not able to do it. It is not possible, impossible to do this work. So instead of going and using the humans, we'll go and do that work with the help of what? Systems. If we are doing some work with the help of systems, then we'll call it as what? Automation. We'll call it as what? Automation. Automatically, whenever the customer places an order, we'll send some emails. Now, when the customer will receive an email here, okay, we understand Swiggy company will send the emails automatically to the customers. When the Swiggy company will send an email? Once the customer is placed the order successfully. That means if the order, if once after opening the app, we'll place an order as a customer. Once the order is placed, the complete details of that order will comes into where? Data sources. Once the data comes into the data sources, which order is coming into the data source? By taking that order details, I need to go and send some automated email to that customer. When I want to send the email now, whenever the data comes into the data sources, when the data comes into data sources, once the order is placed successfully. So once the customer places an order, once that data comes into the data sources, by taking that data as a reference, I need to send one email. Why? Because I need to take the order ID, I need to take the customer registered email, product, what is the product he is placing an order. From where we'll get that data? From the data sources. So once the data comes into the data sources, by taking that data as a reference, I need to go and send some automated emails. Not only emails, text messages or getting the approvals, everything you can do it automation. So we understand 3 steps here: front end, data sources, and automations. And finally, there is one more step: what? Data analysis. Data analysis is nothing but what? Showing the data in the form of visuals or in the form of reports. Now try to understand. So if you want to show the data in the form of visuals or reports, first of all, we need to have the data. Where the companies will store the data? Data sources. In the data sources, the companies will store the data in which format? Tabular format. As we know that the companies will store the data in the data sources in the tabular format. Now whatever the data that is there in the data sources in tabular format, I want to convert the data into which format? I want to convert or show that data in the form of visuals or reports. So showing the data which is there in the tabular format in the visuals or report format will call it as what? Data analysis. So if you want to perform the data analysis, must and should we need to have what? Data. Where the companies will store the data? Data sources. In which format? Tabular format. Convert that data into which format? Visuals. So converting the business data stored in the tabular format into visuals or report format will call it as what? Data analysis. From where we'll get the data into the data sources? From the front end applications. From the front end, we'll get the data in the, we'll store that data in the tabular format. By taking that data, we'll go and analyze it. So let me give an example. What's meant by visuals or reports? Let's take Amazon company is there. Amazon company, they're asking us to create one sales report. They're asking us to create what? One sales report. So any company it is where the companies will store their data means data sources in the tabular format. Now, by taking the data from the data sources, let me show you one report case, one simple report. Let's say Amazon company is asking us to show the product wise sales. They want to understand what? Product wise what's the sales. To show the product wise sales, I'm taking one column chart here. In this column chart, we'll go and show what? Product wise, what's the sales they are doing. In this column chart, I'll go and show what data? Product wise, what is the sales. Now by seeing this visual, they can understand which product is doing good and which product is doing bad. And also they are asking us to show the product wise profit. So here it is sales. Now I want to show the profit. To show the profit, I'll take one bar chart. In this bar chart, I'll go and show what? Product wise profit. I'm taking one bar chart here. In this bar chart, I'll go and show what? Product wise, what's the profit. Now here I'm going to take the products in the y-axis, and I'm going to take what? Profits in the x-axis. Now by seeing this visual, they can understand which product is doing highest profits and which product is getting less profits. Now see, there is one product where they are getting some negative profits. So immediately by seeing this report or visual, they can stop selling this product. Why? Because if they sell this product, they are getting negative profits. Why they need to sell now? They'll stop that selling that product. And also they're asking us to show the month-wise sales. So in order to go and show the month-wise sales, I'm taking one column line chart here. In this line chart, I'll go and show what? Month-wise, what the sales they are doing. To show the month-wise sales, I'm taking one line chart. In this line chart, I'll go and show what? Month-wise, what the sales they are doing. Now, by seeing this visual, they can understand month-wise what the sales. Now, in which month they are doing more business? Maybe in October and November months they are doing more business. In which month they are doing less business? Maybe in March or Feb months they are doing some less business. So in this particular month, they need to target more number of customers. they need to sell more number of products and to get more number of profits. And also they are asking us to show the region wise sales as they are doing the business in multiple regions. So to show the region wise sales, I'm taking one pie chart. In this pie chart, I'll show what region wise, what the sales they are doing. Let's take, we have the multiple regions. I'm showing the region wise what's the sales. Now by seeing this visual, they can understand which region is doing higher sales, which region is doing less sales. And also they are asking us to show the category wise sales. Category means, let's take, they are selling the multiple categories of products like electronics, fashion, home appliance, furniture. These are the categories. So they want to understand which category is doing good and which category is doing bad. Category wise, what's the sales? To understand the category wise sales, let me take one donut chart. What visual it is? It is a donut chart. Now by seeing this donut chart, they can understand category wise what is the sales they are doing. Now by seeing this visual, they can understand which category is doing the highest sales, which category is doing the less sales. And also they are asking us to show the total sales they are doing. I'm taking one card visual. Let's take 10 million is the total sales. And they're asking us to show the total profit. Let's take 2 million is the profits they're getting. Now this is one report, guys. I'm creating one report here. Now by seeing this report, the business organizers or the companies, what they will do? They will analyze their data. Data analysis means by seeing this report, they will analyze their data. Which product is doing good, which product is doing bad, which month is doing good, which month is doing bad. So if you want to generate this kind of reports, must and should we need to have what? Data. Where the companies will store the data? Data sources. So by taking the data from the data sources, I need to go and generate this kind of reports or visual. So by seeing these reports or visuals, the business organizers will do what? They will analyze their business data. Once after analyzing their business data, they will take some business decisions. So this is what is meant by data analysis. So this is what the 4-step business application process. Any company if you take, they need to go with what? Front end. They need to have what? Data source. They need to perform what? Automations. And also they need to analyze what? Business data. So no doubt, if you take any company, the company need to go and implement this 4-step business application process. And let me keep here whatever I explained still now. Let me keep it in the theoretical format, guys. As we know that front-end applications is nothing but what? Front-end applications is nothing but correct creating the apps, comma websites, comma chatbots. This comes under the front end. And next one is what? Data sources. Data sources is nothing but what? The place where the companies will store their business data is known as, let me keep it as, is known as data sources. The place where the companies will store their business data is known as data sources. Next, automation is nothing but what? Automation is nothing but doing certain repeated work automatically without any delay or human interactions. If you are doing some work without any human interactions, then it is called as, comes under the automation. And next, finally, data analysis. I said that data analysis is nothing but what? The process of, it is one process, guys. The process of converting the business data into visuals or reports. We'll call it as actionable information. Actionable information. Actionable information means visuals or reports. Why I'm keeping it as actionable information means by seeing that visuals or reports, they will take some actions. So that's why we'll call it an actionable information. So this is what is meant by this 4-step business application process. Now we need to understand how to implement this 4-step business application process using Power Platform. Now let me discuss about how to go and implement the 4-step business application process using Power Platform. First, try to understand what is Power Platform, guys. Power Platform is a Microsoft Power Platform is used to implement the business applications process of an organization. This is what the use of Microsoft Power Platform. Now how to implement it? Now I need to go and implement this 4-step business application process using Power Platform. Now how to implement this 4-step business application process with the help of Power Platform software. Now before going to understand how to implement it, let me go and show you the Power Platform architecture. If you go to the Power Platform architecture, this is what the Microsoft Power Platform architecture. Now try to understand. First point, this Power Platform architecture is used to implement what? This Power Platform is used to implement what? Business application process. How many steps it is? 4 steps. With the help of Power Platform, now we are going to understand how to implement the 4-step business application process. This is the first point we need to understand. And the second point we need to understand, this Power Platform is not a single software. Power Platform is a collection of softwares. Within the Power Platform, we have the different softwares will be there. So now let me discuss what are the different softwares we'll have. So in the 4-step business application process, first we need to go and start with what? Front end. First we need to go and start with what? Front end applications. So to develop the front end applications, what are the different softwares we'll have? Power Apps, Power Pages, Power Virtual Agent. And step 2 is what? Data sources. Step 2 is what? Data sources. So what are the different data sources? Data sources means what? First of all, where the companies will store their business data. Now if you want to store the business data within the Power Platform, within the Power Platform itself, where we can store it means Dataverse. Dataverse is a data source or a database software which is used to store the data within the Power Platform. If you want to store your business data within the Power Platform, you can go and use the Dataverse. Dataverse is an inbuilt data storage software within the Power Platform. Not only Dataverse, Power Platform can support to store that data in the SQL Server. You can store the data in the SharePoint. Not only this case, you can store the data in the Oracle, MySQL, Excel, CSV, almost all. There is no number. Power Platform can support to store the data in almost all the data sources or databases. But most commonly used, most of the companies will go and use the SharePoint as a data source. If they are using the Power Apps to create the apps, definitely most of the companies, greater than 70% of companies will go and use what software to as a database? SharePoint. Second preference, they will go for the Dataverse. Third preference, they will go for what? SQL Server. So the second point we need to understand about what? Data sources. To what is the inbuilt data storage software? Dataverse. Next, third point is what? Automations. To perform the automations, we'll have one software that is called as what? Power Automate. And next, finally, the fourth step is what? Data analysis. To perform the data analysis, we'll have another software called what? Power BI. So this is the fourth step. So these are the 4 steps we need to go and implement. Now in order to go and implement this 4-step business application process, these are the different softwares within the Power Platform we are going to use. With the help of this collection of softwares in the Power Platform, we are going to implement this 4-step business applications process. So for now, keep in mind, Power Platform is not a single software. Power Platform is a collection of softwares. So in the Power Platform, there are different softwares will be there. With the help of that collection of softwares, we are going to implement what? 4-step business application process. Let me keep that point here. So first point we need to understand, Power Platform is a collection of softwares. Power Platform is a collection of softwares. What are the different softwares we'll have? One is, let me list out those. Power Apps. The second one I'll keep here Power Automate. The third one I'll keep here Power BI. The fourth one is Power Pages. And the fifth one is Power Virtual Agent. And finally the sixth one is Dataverse. So these are the different softwares we'll have in the Power Platform. Now with the help of this collection of softwares, we need to go and implement what? 4-step business application process. Now let me discuss how to implement it. So first let me start with what? Front end. In the front end, first I need to go and create the apps. To create the apps, go and use which software? Power Apps. With the help of Power Apps software, we are able to create the apps. So what is this Power Apps means? Power Apps is used to create the apps or the forms within the Power Platform. Within the Power Platform, if you want to go and create the apps or forms, go and use which software? Power Apps software. And next I need to create the websites. To create the websites, go and use which software? Power Pages. So what is the use of this Power Pages is? Power Pages is used to create the websites. Power Pages is used to create the secured websites. Instead of calling it as websites, in Power Platform terminology, we'll call it as web pages. We'll call it as what? Web pages. If you want to create the websites or web pages, go and use what? Power Pages. And next one is chatbot. If you want to create the chatbots, go and use what? Power Virtual Agent. So what is the use of this Power Virtual Agent is? It is used to create the chatbots. Let me keep here. Power Virtual Agent is used to create the AI chatbots. The AI chatbots. So now what is meant by chatbot means? Chatbot is just like a customer support, guys. Chatbot is just like what? Customer support. And now see, in the older days, whenever if you place an order, let's take if you place an order in Amazon, so the product is not delivered on time, or if you have some issues with that product, so directly there is an option to call to the customer support. Directly they are mentioning their contact details. So there is an option called about or contact us. When I go to the tab called contact us, there we can find out the email ID and some mobile numbers. But now what the companies are doing is directly they are not allowing the customers to make a phone call. First they are trying to solve the questions or issues of the customer with the help of chatbots. If it is not solved with the help of chatbot, then the company itself, they will arrange a call to that customer. As a customer, we are not able to make a call to them. So there is an option, arrange a call. Once we go that option, arrange a call, so they will allocate some slot for us, so that on that particular time we'll receive one call from that support team. So then we need to call to them. So why? Because if you don't keep these chatbots directly, the customers will call to the customer supports, means they need to hire more number of employees. So there is some amount the companies need to spend there. So they are training one chatbot. They'll train one bot. That bot automatically understand what is the order you placed. The bot can understand what's the question you are asking. The bot can understand what is your order details, complete details. By understanding your question, by understanding your order details, the chatbot itself will give some replies to you. Whatever the questions you are keeping, you will get some replies. Those replies are not sent by the humans again. Those are also automated. Automatically the system can understand and give some replies to you. Why? Because so nowadays the companies are reducing the manpower. They need to reduce the number of employees for the voice process. For that they are going with what? Chatbots. So in every app, if you observe in the Flipkart, Amazon, Swiggy, Zomato also, there is an option called chat with us. In the bottom left side or on the right side, we can see an option called chat with us. Or once you place an order, there is an option called, in the orders page, there's an option called chat with us. So you can chat through them. First they will allow us to chat. If not resolve the query, then company itself arrange a call to that customer. So from the customer support team, we will receive a call and then we need to talk to them. So this is what is meant by a chatbot. Let me show you one chatbot case. Even in Power Apps, in the Power Apps also there is one chatbot. Let me open the Power Apps itself. Whenever I open the Power Apps, in the Power Apps there is one chatbot there. Here in the bottom you can see ask a virtual agent. When I click on it, it will open one chat here. So you can go and chat through them. whatever the questions you'll have, you can chat and you'll get some replies. It is telling that what, hello, I'm a virtual agent, if you have any questions you can ask me. So when if I chat through them, I'll get some replies. This is called as chatbots. Nowadays in almost all the top MNC companies websites and in the apps, they are integrating the chatbots. This is called what is meant by a chatbot. And next we need to go with what, data source. Now what is the inbuilt data storage software? Dataverse, correct. So Dataverse is a database software which is used to store the business data within the Power Platform. Within the Power Platform. If you want to store the business data within the Power Platform, go and use what? Dataverse. Not only Dataverse, as I said that you can store the data in SQL, Excel, CSV, SharePoint, almost all the data sources it can support to store the data. And next, the third point is what? Automation. To perform the automations, go and use what? Power Automate. Now, what is meant by Power Automate? Power Automate is an automation software. Let me keep here. What is meant by Power Automate is Power Automate is an automation software which is used to automate the repeated work process. Which is used to automate the repeated work process in the organizations. Every organization will have some repeated work process. If you want to do that work with the help of humans, it is not possible. So we'll go and do that with the help of system. What is that software I'm using here? Power Automate. And finally, data analysis. Data analysis is nothing but what? So by using which software you can perform the data analysis? Power BI. So what is this Power BI means? Power BI is a data analysis or a data analytics software which is used to analyze the business data. What is Power BI? Power BI is a data analytics, or we'll call it as data analysis. Anyone is fine. Power BI is a data analytics software which is used for what? Analyze the business data. Where the business data will be stored? Data sources. Whatever the data is there in the data sources, that business data I want to analyze. Analyzing the business data means showing the data in the form of visuals or reports. And now, with the help of this collection of softwares, we are able to implement this 4-step business application process or not? Yes. Now, whatever the 4-step business application process we understand, now with the help of this collection of softwares within the Power Platform, we are going to implement the 4-step business application process. So this is what, how to implement the 4-step business application process with the help of Power Platform. And these are the different softwares within the Power Platform which is used to implement this process. And now whatever the 6 points I mentioned here, the same 6 points I mentioned in the beginning of the session, I said that what the Power Platform can do. Apps, you can perform what? Automations, data analysis, websites, chatbot, data sources. Whatever the 6 points I mentioned in the beginning of the session, the same points I'm mentioning here or not? Yes. To create the app, go and use what? Power Apps. To perform the automations, go and use what? Power Automate. To perform the data analysis, go and use what? Power BI. To create the websites, go and use what? Power Pages. To create the chatbots, go and use what? Power Virtual Agent. To store the data, go and use what? Dataverse. So whatever the 6 points I mentioned, I said that these are the 6 things we are going to implement within the Power Platform. So to implement these 6 things, these are the different softwares we are using. So this is what all about. What is Power Platform? What is meant by business applications? How to implement business applications using Power Platform, and also Power Platform architecture. Along with this, we understand what? Who will use the Power Platform software and who will hire the Power Platform developers. Fine. We're done with the session. I'll take the questions now. Before going to take the questions, please make a note of it. Give me a couple of minutes time. I'll take the questions. Before going to take the questions, please make a note of it. Let me copy from here. To write everything, it will take some lot of time. Just copy and then paste it here. Now try to understand, guys. Please make a note of it. Once the class is completed, you will get one mail. I'll share one mail with you. In that mail, you will get what? Today's class notepad, today's class running notes. This class notes you will get. Along with the class notes, I'll share what? Today's class recorded video. Along with the recorded video, you will get what? Course content. I think all of you received the course curriculum. If you haven't received, anyway, I will share it again. So this is the course curriculum, guys. So
I didn't receive.
topic wise, clearly I listed here what I am going to discuss in the coming classes. So you please go and walk through it once so that you'll understand what are the topics I'm going to cover in the coming classes. I'll share this curriculum with you. Please go and walk through this once. You can understand what we'll be discussing in the coming classes. Topic wise, clearly I mentioned here. So I will follow this curriculum in our regular classes. And next, what's the course duration? The course duration is 2 months. Daily 1 hour class. Daily 1 hour session. 2 months is the course duration. That means totally around 60 hours of classes will be there. And next one, how many months I said the course duration? 2 months. Once after completion of the course, still, so if you missed any classes or if you want to attend the classes again, so you have the live access for how many months totally? 4 months. So that means once after completion of the class, another, I will allow you to attend the classes another 2 more months. So let's say you joined for today, 4th December. So from today, how many months you'll have the access? 4 months. December, Jan, Feb, March. 4 months you'll have the access. So in these 4 months, how many times you want to listen the classes, you can listen. There is no limit. As we have the multiple batches, so if you want to, let's take, we are starting the 8 p.m. batch now. It is not mandatory to listen the classes in only 8 p.m. There is another slot in the morning 9 p.m. You can attend the classes in the 9 p.m. also. It is up to you. So how to attend those parallel batches, you'll understand once you've registered, guys. So you'll get these things by today. Along with this, one more point you need to understand what I will discuss in these 2 months. I said that 2 months is the course duration. In these 2 months, what I will discuss? I'll discuss about Power Apps in detail, and we'll discuss about Power Automate. These two we'll discuss about in detail, guys. And I'll discuss about some SharePoint basics. So to understand about Power Apps and Power Automate concepts, we need to have some SharePoint basics. What knowledge you need to have in SharePoint to understand the Power Apps and Power Automate concepts? I'll discuss the SharePoint basics also. So these are the 3 components or the softwares I'll discuss in this 2 months. And next, coming to the registered students. Once if you registered with us, what you will get? Daily you will get the notepad. Every class will have some running notes. You'll get the class notes. And most importantly, you'll get what? All recordings. Every class recording will get. And these recordings will be accessible for you for 1 year. And next, I'll share the interview questions. Along with the interview questions, I'll share what? Resume templates. And I'll share what? Projects. I'll share some project details with you to keep it in your resumes. And also I'll conduct what? Mock interviews. If you are thorough with the subject, then I'll conduct the mock interviews also. These are the things you'll get people, those who got registered with us. And next, coming to the job opportunity. So as in the Power Platform, there are 6 components is there. So it is mandatory to go and learn all the 6 components means? No, not required. So when coming to the job opportunities, Power Apps and Power Automate will have the jobs case. With this combination, Power Apps and Power Automate, with this combination, we have the jobs. Along with this Power Apps and Power Automate, better to have one database knowledge. Along with Power Apps and Power Automate, better to have one database knowledge, either SharePoint or SQL or Dataverse. Among these 3, any database knowledge, better to have. So among all this also, good to have the SharePoint right now. Maybe in future, Dataverse, but now to get the job, good to have the SharePoint knowledge, at least intermediate level of SharePoint. And next, this is one type of job opportunities. Another one is what? Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI. With this also you'll have the more job opportunities. Another combination is what? Power BI plus SQL Server. With this combination also you'll have the jobs. And what is another combination? Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, SQL, SharePoint. With this combination, we'll have more number of job opportunities. Complete Power Platform, you can apply for the jobs. So it is required to go and learn all these components means right now, not required. So if you are very new, people, those who are very new to the Power Platform, go with for now Power Apps and Power Automate. Once after completion of Power Apps and Power Automate, try to enhance some knowledge in the SharePoint. Enough. With this, you'll get the job. No doubt. This is the nowadays Power Apps and Power Automate is the hot job opportunities in the market, guys. We have a number of jobs. And people, those who are already working in Power BI, there are some students who are learning Power Apps who are already working in Power BI. If you have already Power BI knowledge, just go and learn Power Apps and Power Automate, as we have already Power BI plus SQL. People, those who are already coming from SharePoint, most of the students coming from SharePoint background. People, those who already coming from SharePoint background, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of experience, you just go and learn Power Apps and Power Automate. Enough. Once after Power Apps and Power Automate, slowly you can add Power BI in your skill set. So it is not mandatory to go and learn all the skills now. If you have enough time, well and good, go and learn all. Otherwise, first go with Power Apps and Power Automate. And people, those who are coming from .NET background, you people also best go with Power Apps and Power Automate. You'll have the jobs. People, those who are coming from Java background, from front end, go with Power Apps and Power Automate. You'll get the jobs. So people, those who are already working in SharePoint, people, those who are already working in Power BI, people, those who are working in .NET or some other technologies, go with Power Apps and Power Automate. Enough to get the job. People, those who are very new, Power Apps, Power Automate, and better to have any database knowledge. People, those who have some sufficient time, you can go with these skills. So in our institute, we are giving this training: Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, SQL, and SharePoint Basics. We are giving this combination of training where we'll have more number of job opportunities.